Hello, everyone, and welcome to PodKast version 3. Been sitting here for a little bit, waiting around for, Christian, my usual cohort here, to join me, but much like last time, I don't think I'm just going to do that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and just go right into the show rather than have any dead time waiting for Christian. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and get started.
Hello!
Oh, hello!
Hello there!
Nice of you to make it this time.
It is I have returned from a wanderingness of wandering and a thoughtfulness of thinkings. Just in time for this third podcast.
You are. Perfect timing you have. Very good timing. Anyway, shall we tell them what we're talking about?
Yes, certainly. In this third podcast, we'll be talking to, at long last, the man who denies that Daleks can fly. We'll also be having a little chat about the casting of Kylie Minogue as the Doctor's companion in The Voyage of the Damned, the 2007 Christmas episode. But to begin with, we're going to carry on from where we got up to in podcast 2, where I believe we spoke about the Shakespeare Code, and we're going to sort of catch up a bit, and we're going to have a chat about Gridlock, the third episode, which saw the return of the face of Bo, followed by Daleks in Manhattan, Evolution of the Daleks, and the Lazarus Experiment. We're going to give them both a quick, each of them an overview of our opinions. So we'll start with Gridlock. Back to the year 5 billion and whatever. What did you think?
New Earth again. Well, I enjoyed it actually. Could have gone somewhere else in the universe rather than a repeat planet, but it's kind of cool actually because it is sort of the first repeat planet. We've seen Skaro once or twice and so on, so it's neat and at the same time, a little bit of a dull thing at the same moment, I guess.
Sure.
But I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. I think it was good fun, really. It's obviously it was the return of the Macra. They weren't really doing anything; they were just there as a threat.
Bit of a cameo, really.
Yeah, pretty much a cameo, really. I mean, it could have been anything, but obviously the way that the creature at the bottom of New York survived was basically the way the Macra survived. So I think it's bonus points to Russell T Davies for sticking them in there.
Yeah, absolutely, well used.
Yeah, also notable, as I say, for returning to the year 5 billion and whatever they're up to now. And the return of the face of Bo with his mysterious message, "You are not alone."
Which we've been saying for months.
That's right. Well, longer than months, I think. Really.
Yeah, actually, probably since the last series. So.
Of course. Well, I was going to say we spoke to the Master not so long back, and of course he did confirm that he would possibly, perhaps, or maybe not at all, be appearing in Series 3, so that gave us more evidence of that.
Yeah, that did actually, yeah. I mean, it doesn't dull the effects of what he said, but it's sort of, when he actually says it, I remember sitting there going, oh, yeah, see, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
It's like, I think if Russell knew that he was coming back with this big grand message, perhaps he shouldn't have said that he's coming back with this grand forward message. Maybe he should have kept quiet saying,
sure,
his story's not done, he'll be back. Could have said that. Didn't need to tell us that he had one grand message, because, I mean, that had been figured out for months. And
yeah.
So, while it's cool in the story respect, I guess I was wrong a little bit. It does dull the effects of that exact moment, but not of the overall story.
Sure. I think the other thing as well, I've alluded to this twice, just return to the year 5 billion and whatever. I think 5 billion is a very precise number, isn't it? I mean, where are they counting 5 billion from? I mean, I'm presuming we're talking Earth calendar.
Yeah,
We're always talking Earth calendar in Dot 2.
Yeah.
And 5 billion, I mean, the Earth's pretty old as it is, so, I mean, to me, I'm not certain 5 billion really is that far in the future. I mean, I will be very surprised at some point in the next few hundred years, or maybe a couple of thousand years at the most, we don't change the calendar around a bit. So I don't really find that 5 billion is that far in the future, as the number 5 billion suggests. So anyway, following Gridlock, we travelled back in time quite considerably to 1930s New York, where the Daleks were building the Empire State Building.
Quite a little turn of events there, yeah. One thing that gets me about these historical stories where you have like the main villain or a creature like, doing something historic, like building the Empire State Building, it really does start to show you that the human race that the Doctor loves so much really didn't do anything. You know, the Daleks were responsible for the Empire State Building.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very Eric von Daniken sort of look at things, isn't it, really?
Well, I don't. It's just so strange that so many key events to me in the course of history of Doctor Who, if you go through like day one up till now, it's cool, you know, because it's fun to think of things in that respect. But they're all like alien orientated, and it's like, boy, I guess we humans really didn't amount to much, but just being there, you know.
Well, I mean, you never know. Maybe that is the way things really are.
Could possibly be. Could very well be.
We don't know. We don't know. Well, I mean, the Lazarus Experiment was episode 6. Bit of a change in pace. Excellent appearance from Mark Gatiss as Professor Lazarus.
Absolutely, yeah, very good.
I thought it was a superb turn, that, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
And we also got to meet Martha's family again in a much more preferable way to how we first met them in Smith & Jones.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And also a bit more understanding, you know, like, you know, they treated the Doctor a little bit, I don't want to say better, but a little bit more realistically than Jackie and Mickey and so on, and sure. You know, or I guess they were more like real people rather than comic relief. You know, Jackie and Mickey were always the comic relief.
Yes,
and yeah, and Martha's mom, sister, and brother in this particular story, I mean, they were very much like a real family. They were concerned about their daughter, concerned about what was going on. I thought naturally Martha's mom took it a little bit too extreme, but I guess, you know, I'm not a mother, so I don't know how protective I would be of my children.
Sure. Well, I mean, if as a potential father, I think if my daughter was involved with a dapper-looking chap who was a doctor while she was a medical student, I don't really think I'd have any concerns.
Yeah, that would have seemed to me like, oh, look, you know, my medical student daughter is really, you know, getting into the medical world fully. Yeah. You know, what's so wrong with that, really?
And also, it was nice to meet Martha's sister in more detail, which was sort of a nice would have been a nice second companion, really. Oh, yeah, she absolutely would have, definitely. I you know, I actually watched this episode and I kind of wondered, man, would she have made a better Martha? Even if she wasn't an addition, you know? Sure. I do have one chief complaint with the Lazarus Experiment, and it comes down, I guess, to personal opinion, but as good as the story was, the CGI effects in it were not up to scratch for me. Having like an alien or a creature that you're going to see in that much detail being completely CGI didn't work for me. I think the face is where it falls down. Everything other than the face, I think, is fine. It doesn't appear to be Mark Gatiss at all. No, it definitely doesn't. I think maybe it would have been better if the creature just didn't have a face. Or maybe if it just had a solitary eye. Something would have been better. Anything than that. I mean, if you were going to make the body be that drastically different, the face should have been different, for sure. Yeah, sure. And it just didn't work for me. Now, certain shots, like quick shots, or when it was in the bell tower, stuff like that, where you saw quick glimpses and you know, camera tearaways and so on, they worked well. But it was definitely a step down from the Werewolf of last year. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it there, and we'll pick this back up in podcast 4. Now, I believe Gerald took you somewhere the other day. Am I right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and quite an interesting time it was, really. Yeah, now I missed this, and I've been on about this guy for weeks now. I'm quite gutted about this, but this really was the man who denies Daleks can fly. Oh yes, live and in person, and well, why don't we just go to the feed now? Okay. Okay, here we are live today in Anfield Plain. We are in the middle of the park. We are seated on a park bench. Next to me on one side I have a Dalek, and next to me on the other side I have Mr. Edgar Rice Paper, the man who denies that Daleks can fly. Mr. Paper, how are you today? Alright, so nice. Yeah, not bad yourself. Yeah. Pretty good, thank you. Now, explain to me this fascination you have with the fact that Daleks can't fly. Well, it's not so much a fascination, it's more of a realisation that the rest of the English-speaking world seems to have completely denied in some moment of self-denial, if you like. Okay, but we have seen them fly. You've seen them fly. In the TV show, they've flown. No, it's just an optical illusion, that's all. Yeah, I mean, the scourge of the galaxy, aren't they? Devastators of the universe.
And you think that they're fooling us into thinking that, making us think that they can fly so that we'll be more afraid of them.
Of course, yeah, it stands to reason, doesn't it? I mean, just
Not
look at this
really.
thing here.
Okay, no, that doesn't stand to reason for. I mean, you've seen them, since what, their second appearance in Doctor Who. I mean, how else could they get upstairs if they can't fly?
Oh, it's just because there's so many of them. They're just fooling you to thinking they've climbed the stairs. There's just another one pops up where you think the stairs ended. It's optical illusion, like I said. They're just fooling you. Look at it. I mean, this thing don't fly. Listen, it's solid. It's not going to fly.
Right, but that one's just a prop.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I'm saying is you have you have a Dalek. You said one just appears, where the stairs end. Well, how does it get upstairs then? If it
doesn't
can't
get
fly?
upstairs. It's there to start with. That's what I'm saying here. It's an optical illusion. You don't fly upstairs, fly. Well, they teach you, son, eh?
Oh, wait, but I'm still not following you. How did it get upstairs? If it's, you said it's there to start. So what? They make them upstairs?
Well, obviously.
Well, then how did they get upstairs?
What need does a Dalek need for climbing stairs? Exactly.
Well, they
fly. If a Dalek wants to get to the top floor, he's just going to blow down the building and trundle into the top floor when it hits the base.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, we've never really seen that happen, actually. They've always just kind of been upstairs,
Well, there's lots of things we haven't seen happen, have we? We haven't seen the fall and rise of the Roman Empire. We haven't seen the glittering cresta of a mountain wave as it snatches at the orange misty glow on the planet of Zone A20.
Okay, I don't quite know how we got there, but we're talking about the fact that Daleks can fly. You seem to be the only one here in all the history of the Doctor Who world that doesn't seem to believe this, and I'm not exactly buying your explanation as to why they can't fly.
Well, it's not going to fly. Look, listen, it's solid.
Right, okay,
Now, I've done this before. And I've proved to everyone it's not going to fly.
What have you done before?
Well, I've done an experiment, haven't I? I've done an experiment to prove that this thing won't fly.
You've done an experiment, okay.
Oh, yeah, of course I have. Now, and I thought it was a pretty good idea, really, under the circumstances, after I got a phone call from your flatulence researcher, Gerald.
Yes, Gerald.
That it would be a good idea to reproduce my experiment in similar conditions, the outdoors, as we are here in Anfield Plain, and make, in inverted commas, the Dalek fly.
Okay.
So
again, that's just a prop.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Okay.
I'm going to
go on. Just go on.
So I'm going to not make, as it were, the Dalek fly. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, amaze me.
Okay. Fly! Fly! Fly!
Are you done now?
Fly!
No.
Fly! 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 Fly!
Edgar!
Fly!
Edgar!
Fly!
Edgar!
Fly! 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 Fly!
Right. That's not working.
Fly!
Edgar, it's not gonna fly.
Fly! 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 It's not working, see? It's not fly.
Right, again, that one, Edgar, is just a prop.
Well, I mean, that's what I've come to expect from this sort of like ham-fisted, lily-livered, sort of nonsensical interview manner that you've been cultivating on these podcasts of yours. I don't know why anyone bothers listening to you anyway. I'm off now, I've had enough of it. I'll see you. Yeah, bye.
Whoa!
Exterminate!
Whoa! General, I thought this thing was a prop. Cut the feed! This is over! Cut the feed!
Well, that was an astonishing turn of events there at Anfield Plain. Thankfully, that was a couple of days ago, and Brian is now back in the studio with me.
Yes, I am. Hello.
Excellent. And we're going to talk about the recent casting in Doctor Who for the Christmas special, the 2007 Christmas special, The Voyage of the Damned, which of course has seen the long-rumoured and finally confirmed casting of every straight man's dream and every gay man's kind of mad kind of role model.
Yeah, there you are.
Wannabe, yeah. Kylie Minogue.
Yes. So, real quick, we're just gonna, gloss over the fact that there's a prop Dalek loose somewhere in England, floating around, shooting and killing people, right? We're just gonna ignore that because it's probably not good for legal reasons. Okay, fine. All right, yeah, Kylie. So, what do you think?
Kylie, you see, for British television viewers and those that appreciate the best in pop music, Kylie Minogue has been a bit of a name since 1987,
Wow.
when she appeared in Neighbours here in the UK, the Australian soap opera, which somehow continues to run to this day. And that's where she really made a name in the UK, and it was from that her pop career spun off from, pretty much. So, and 1987, that was the sort of age, I was 11, 12 in 1987, so I had a bit of a thing for Kylie, as she worked at the Erinsborough garage in her overalls, because she was a female mechanic in Neighbours, you see.
I see. So this is a little bit of a dream come true for you.
Well, it is kind of, yeah. It's almost kind of like the end of it, sort of like the logical conclusion of some bizarre thread in which she's weft throughout my life. Obviously, she started her pop career. She was a bit of a sort of like pop princess in the traditional sense of the world, and then she kind of went off and recorded with Nick Cave, and did some very non-pop stuff that was, whether or not it was pop or not, it was still very good and valid material. And then she came back, turned into sort of like the disco Kylie Diva sort of thing. Again with the nice little pert behind and the hot pants, touring the world, becoming extremely famous, and now here she's in Doctor Who. And frankly, yeah, I mean, I can barely think of a better Christmas present.
Well, I got to be honest and say that I've known who she was for years and so on, and I never, and as quite attractive as she is and everything, I can see where all the fantasies are coming from, but I never really knew too much about her and so on. So, like, her being cast in Doctor Who, it's just another face to me that is going to be new to me for Doctor Who, Yeah. It really goes to show the success of the show, the type of talent that they're attracting to it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even with some of the extra names we've heard now attached to the project, Jeffrey Palmer.
Jeffrey Palmer. I mean, I think that's really good. I mean, Jeffrey Palmer adds a veneer of quality to everything he appears in.
Absolutely.
Very much in the same way that Derek Jacobi does, but in a completely different kind of a way, if you follow me. I mean, I imagine he's either going to be some rich dignitary or a senior crew member of the Titanic.
I've heard a few rumors that he may even possibly be the captain of the Titanic, which now I don't know the history of the Titanic that well either, enough to say that I would know what the captain is supposed to be like or what he looks like or even, but I can certainly see Jeffrey Palmer in a role like that.
Yeah, I mean, he does have that kind of. I mean, he's very kind of typecast within a particular sort of avenue of roles. He's certainly not a niche of roles, but I mean, he's government officials. Military people, so captain of the Titanic certainly isn't too far removed from the role he played in the James Bond film.
Absolutely,
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, moving real quick back to Kylie, though.
Yeah.
What kind of role do you think she's going to have? Because I know, she's probably taking on the Donna role this year, which is the one-off companion. But do you think? There are the rumors now that Russell T Davies and his anagram game out there are going a little bit crazy and so on. Again, that the character's name is Astrid, which is an anagram of TARDIS. Yes. So is it like the TARDIS in physical form becoming the Doctor's companion? And this way, at the end of the story, we don't have to see yet another story where a companion says, "No, I don't want to travel with you." Instead, she just reverts back into the or a TARDIS. Or
you've been doing a lot more reading on this than I have.
Perhaps I have. No, but I'm curious, is she going to be like the classic type companion, or is there maybe more to it, whereas she is a TARDIS like this, or is she maybe like the villain, a villainess that they're kind of glossing over by saying, we've got Kylie, you know what I mean? I wonder how it's going to play out, if it's going to be I mean, either way, it's going to be good. I can't see it being bad, but I'm kind of curious which path they're going to take with it.
Well, I mean, they could take any number of paths, couldn't they? Really? I mean, there's a whole sort of there's a whole issue of the TARDIS being breached by the Titanic to start with.
Exactly.
Which I'm very interested to see how they explain that away.
Right.
Then there's Kylie herself. I mean, as long as she's running around looking cute, it doesn't really matter what. I mean, I'm saying this based on the tenets of the previous Christmas story, whereby in the Runaway Bride, basically, it's a bit of 60 minutes of Doctor Who themed nonsense in the late afternoon on Christmas Day for people who have had too much to drink and have eaten too much and don't need to think about it too much. So based on that, as long as Kylie's running around looking pretty and there's an interesting conclusion and the story itself looks good, as a Christmas episode, with those particular qualities, it shouldn't matter. Okay, well that's the end of the third podcast. So if you've got any opinions about anything that we've spoken about, feel free to email us or have a chat about it in the Castorbis forum. Next time, we'll be looking at Series 3, Episodes 7 to 10, and we'll also be discussing the arrival of Catherine Tate in Series 4. So, it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. Goodbye.